It's the grandson of Right Thought. Welcome to the School of Marvelous Light, little flock. You guys remember on my last video that I had said, my messages are very intense. I am intense. When you hear me speak, you may feel intense feelings. Whether they are positive and negative, that's up to you. But you may feel intense feelings when you listen to me speak because of the intensity of what you've heard and what you have felt. You see? Well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason that that's the case. And we're going to prove out of the scriptures why that's the case when you come here to the School of Marvelous Light and you happen to see one here named the grandson of Right Thought. Why is the grandson of Right Thought the way that he is? Well, you guys know that life is in the what? I told y'all the little flockulators, y'all the coldest. You see? And that ain't a negative thing. That's a positive thing where I come from. It mean you the best. You see? Like I told y'all yesterday. See, because it requires you to be a certain type of person to endure this intensity that I'm talking about. Anything that's intense turns away a lot of people, but there are a few who can bear intense things. You ever heard of HIIT training? High intensity interval training. It's called HIIT for short, HIIT. High intensity. So what you do during this HIIT workout is very intense, but it's for very short spurts of intensity. But if you can bear it, then you'll get the results of the HIIT training. You see that there, little flock? If you can bear the intensity of it. Well, those who can't bear the intensity, they just run. They leave it, they throw it behind them. They say, oh, no. It's not going to profit me at all. That thing is too hard. You see? Well, that's the case when you come to the grandson of Right Thought. But I want you all to understand why, and that's why I'm going to give you this message here today. Go to the book of Genesis. We're going to establish who the grandson of Right Thought is so that there's no questions for any of you listeners. I've already explained this gazillion times throughout my messages, but there may be new listeners that don't quite understand what that means when I say that. But like I said, throughout this message, it's going to become clearer and clearer and clearer why you see what you see when you see me. It's going to become very clear. So we start in the beginning, just like everything else starts. See, Genesis. All right. Go to chapter 49. And we'll start at verse 8. Genesis chapter 49, starting at verse 8. Yehudah, or Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Because the word Yehudah means I am praised. You see that? I am praised. You are he whom your brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemy. So let's stop right there and ruminate on that for a second. Marinate, as I like to say. Let it percolate in the pot. Let it bubble so you can sniff the aroma and make sure it's straight. So we're going to sniff and make sure this is straight. Did it just say there that Judah's hand shall be in the neck of his enemies? That's pretty intense already, isn't it? Yep, that's a pretty intense trait you have to have your hand in the neck of your enemies. And let's see if that's the only intense trait that we see. Let's continue. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So we also see that he is a king amongst his brothers, which are the other tribes of Israel. That's the brothers that it's talking about there. They will bow down unto him, and he will be the head of the tribes of Israel. Just like King David was when the two kingdoms were unified as one under King David. You see that there, little flock? It's going to happen again. You see there? It's going to happen again. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Do you hear that, little flocculator? So here comes with the intensity in his personality again. In other words, who dare piss you off? If a lion is crouching down, ready to pounce, are you going to antagonize him more? Are you going to take a stick and like poke him in the side as he's crouching down, preparing to pounce on you as he's licking his chops? You get what I'm saying there? That's when the intense feeling hits you, when he crouches and you go, oh shit, let me get up out of here, for he pounced on me. You see that there? Who is going to rouse him up, antagonize him, and piss him off? In today's terms, who's going to piss him off? So that means something happens when he gets pissed off. He gets roused up. He gets roused up. We'll use something simple since the word roused is there. Do you understand what it means when a man becomes aroused? What is the evident token that he is aroused? He stands up. So do you see what I'm saying there? You see? And then the intense act comes next, which is sex. But he's got to stand up first. See, he got to get roused up first. Well, that's the thing about Judah. Who's going to get him angry and piss him off? Who dare do it? You see? So you understand his personality a little bit better if you're from that tribe, which means if you're looking at a Jew, this is the traits that you're going to see about him. You see that there, little flock? So do you understand the feelings that you feel when you see the grandson starting to come clear? It's going to come real crystal clear with Windex sprayed on it, crystal clean, with a ding coming off. And you can hear it when you walk in the room. You look at it, goes, a little glint comes off the glass and it goes, bing. That's how it's going to be with the clarity through this message. And it's going to jive. It's going to completely connect like Legos, like it always does. And it's going to go together perfectly like peanut butter and jelly. And you're going to lick your fingers afterwards and drink a glass of almond milk down after that shit. Because I don't know what they're doing with the cow's milk nowadays. Verse 10. The scepter. What is the scepter? It is a symbol of rulership. You see that there. So we see that he's a king. So he walks as a king among men. He's intense. He can get roused up. And who dare do that? Interesting here. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. Now I want to stop right there and listen and make everybody listen to that right there. Nor a lawgiver. Did you hear that? From whose feet? Judah, it says. So I thought the priesthood was only Levi. The only lawgiver was Levi, I thought. Moses, the lawgiver. Did Moses come from Judah? That would be no. He came from Levi. So who is this lawgiver that's going to come from the knees of Judah, between the knees of Judah? Who are these lawgivers? And what is the law that they give? The lawgivers that come out of Judah are the order of Melchizedek. That's who they are. And they give the law that Christ gave, which is love one another as I have loved you. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Love God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's the law that the Jew gives, the true Jew that come out of the knees of Judah that we just read about with the scepter in his hand. That's the law he gives. So we see that he's a lawgiver and a king. So he's a king and a priest. You see that there? Little flockulators right there. You see? You see? This is why when David ate the showbread, he wasn't condemned to die, but they didn't understand it because they only knew about Levi. They didn't know about the lawgiver that comes from Judah, see, who sits on the throne as a king and a priest. And there's a prophecy of that we're going to get into to tie this all together, like I told you guys. All right? Nor a lawgiver from between his feet until who? Until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Y'all hear that? So there's a gathering taking place. I keep telling you guys about it. And the gathering is unto a man named Shiloh. Well, Shiloh is a code name. Shiloh literally means to he whose it belongs. So he just told you what belongs. The scepter. There's a scepter from Judah that God says will always be there because of David. So he will always have a scepter. But somehow they were cut off as a nation of people by their enemies. So something is going to have to happen to make that right again. Don't you see it there, little flock? So we're going to get into when Abba will do that. So unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Shiloh, the one whom the scepter belongs to. You see it, little flock? That rulership, that spot, that seat. When he comes, the people will gather unto him. You see it? All right. Verse 11. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's coat unto the choice vine. Stop. What does that even mean, little flock? Do you guys know? If you're fortunate enough to be here at the School of Marvelous Light, you may not know when you come, but when you leave, you know. Because the grandson of right thought gonna make sure you know it. So what does it mean? Binding his foal unto the vine. Well, who was the vine? Yahusha said, I am the true vine. So that's the vine that's mentioned there. You see that there, little flock? Binding his foal. What is the foal? It's your emotions and your feelings and your own vain imaginations and thoughts, which run wild like a horse. And it says a small bit in a horse's mouth, you can make it turn either which way. But if you don't have that bit in his mouth, he's very hard to control. Your emotions, that is. Well, all your thoughts and emotions and feelings, you have bound it to a vine that does not change, does not move. That would be Yahusha. See, which is the head of the tribe of Judah. So do you see that there, little flock of laters? Do you see it? Yahusha is the chosen vine. Choice vine, it says there. Choice means chosen. Who's the chosen vine? I just told you who he is. I am the true vine. Ye are the branches. So there's one man in particular to come that gonna make that clear to everybody. Okay? Binding his foal into the vine, his ass's coat. You see, ass's coat. When you try to sit on a young ass or an ass's coat, which is a young horse, he bucks. He doesn't want to be sat on. He doesn't want to be ridden. You understand that? So Yahusha, when he sat on that coat, you see, it was calm and it was obedient unto him, showing his rulership, his kingship, his authority. Don't you understand it, little flock? The coat bound to the vine. Don't you see it? He said, you should see a coat bound. The Lord have need of it. And so they bound the coat up to Yahusha. Don't you see it, little flock? Their trust in him. That's what it means. Their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts, whatever they think has now been given over to him. As Yahusha said, cast your burdens upon me, and I'll give you rest for your psychological, because the psychological is where all of your thoughts and feelings are going down at. It's in your psychological body. Your psychological body is what needs to be freed, because once your psychological body is freed, then your physical body will follow. It will be free as well. See that there, little flock of laters? Can't you see it? Can't you see it? And you shall be free indeed. We be of Abraham's seed, and we're in bondage to any man. And you say, well, he should make you free. Yeah, because your psychological isn't free. You're not free when you're still worried about if you did it right, if you're still worried about what God wants you to do to be pleased, if you're still caught in sin, if you're still second guessing and having double mind about everything that you do because you don't know the truth, you have not rested, because you still got all your coat running around in there. You're trying to bundle them up and put them all in the pen, but they keep jumping out and getting free. You can't ride nothing. You ain't got no peace. Because the emotions is all out of whack. Because your thoughts is all out of whack. I told you, if your psychological body is free, then your physical body will be. How do I know that? Because as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Y'all don't know nothing about that, I guess, huh? His eyes, let's go back. He washed his garments in wine. We're going to get to exactly what that means, too. If y'all think he took his clothes down to a wine press and went in there and dipped it down in the wine and was washing his clothes, then you don't know the truth of the matter. And we'll get into the truth of the matter so that you're not confused. His clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Y'all hear that there? Little flock of laters. All right? Now we got some understanding into the personality of this person. You see? Now he talked about his clothes being washed in blood of grapes. Right? Let's go to the book of, let's see, what do I want first? Let's go to Hebrews chapter 12 and get this little nugget real quick so we can put it in our pocket. So everything else that we speak about will unfold perfectly like we want it to. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 12. So y'all got the foundation, this personality of a king and a priest, his own brothers bowing down to him as the king, as the leader, the gathering of the tribes of Israel that have been scattered. See, they've been scattered all over the earth. They will be gathered unto a man. Shiloh is that man. He whom it belongs is what that means. So whoever the scepter belongs to, that's the people they would be gathered unto him. So it would be wise that you knew who Shiloh was, or in other words, who is the scepter belong to, Abba? You should just ask him. That would be a wise question to ask the Father. Well, then if the gathering of the people is unto him, then who is him? Be like a kid. Who is him, Abba? Who do the scepter belong to? Okay, because through this message, I'm going to prove who it belongs to. And you have a choice whether to believe that and gather or not. And gather, you can decide what that means to you through the Spirit. Because ultimately, this is spiritual. Gather to the mountain I'm standing on, because that's where I'm at. The mountain means the highest point of consciousness. And the highest point of consciousness is love. There isn't any other point, pinnacle, or anything else, because love conquers all. So that's why I stand up there saying what I'm saying in such a conquering, whack-a-mole-ish type of way, with such great confidence. You see that there, little flock? Because I know where I'm at. Now, it's up to y'all to gather up here to me, to right thought. In Zion, that's what Zion means, righteousness. It literally means right thought. It's translated the same thing. You see what I mean? Spiritually, this is what I'm saying. You get out your carnal mind. What I'm saying, spiritual. When I say right feelings, I'm speaking of Jerusalem. See, because when you're in a peaceful state, that means you feel right. What's the name of Jerusalem when you translate it? City of peace. So now your city that you live in, which is your body, is at peace. That's called Jerusalem. And you're going to receive a new Jerusalem once you receive the new right thoughts. Because a man has to think first. And then the feelings will match the thoughts. Because the woman follows the man. The man is the head of the woman. Thoughts are the head of the feelings. Thoughts decide what the feelings will feel. If you think something is dangerous, then you're going to feel feelings of fear. If you know something is safe, then you will not feel the fear. You will feel calm and peaceful. See how it all matches? What I'm trying to say to you guys? See my doctrine that I teach to you? See how it's unique and it's different? Don't you see it? Well, we're proving why. Because something belongs to me. What I'm talking belongs to me. He put it in my mouth to say it. He put it in my mouth to say it. It belongs to me to say it. You see? So I'm saying it. Intensely, you see? Like a raging fire, because my light, I don't put it under a bushel. Light means truth. I'm telling you the truth. So I don't put it under a bushel. It's blazing brightly. It's blazing, infernal. You see that there? Hebrews chapter 12, verse 24. Watch this here, little flock, and get this nugget of wisdom like I told you. And to Yahushua, my daddy, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. Stop. Why does it say that, little flock? Why does it make sure to say Abel there? Why did it even bring him up at all? Why? Because their blood speaks two different types of thing when they're facing being murdered. Now, what did Yahushua's blood cry? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And he gave up the ghost. The ghost. He gave up the ghost. But Abel, Abba said, Abel's blood cries unto me from the earth. Yahushua's blood speaks from heaven. He's at the right hand of the Father. Abel's blood speaks from the earth. Can't you hear it speaking to you? The life of Abel speaks from the earth. You see it? So Yahushua's blood speaks better things. Forgive them. Mercy. Abel's blood says, avenge me. Vengeance. Justice. We're going to prove that, little flock of lambs. Okay, that's why his blood speaks better things than that of Abel. You see? Doesn't mean what Abel speaks of is wrong. What Yahushua speaks of is better. That's all. But when they reject Yahushua, my father, which after you have talked to me, if you think I'm just telling you cockamamie stuff about Yahushua, then you're hopeless. Then you're hopeless, because I give it to you with great accuracy because I know him. Other people talk about what they know from what they've heard. I speak of what I know from personal experience. So there's a huge difference when that's going on, you see, as a witness, you see. Abba didn't say he had a whole lot of witnesses in the last days. I don't know why y'all think there is. All right. Now we want, let's see. Matter of fact, let's get that. Genesis 4:10. Let's get it. Let's be diligent. Genesis 4:10. And matter of fact, I usually read from the King James, but for the purposes of illumination, I'm going to read for the Amplified version. Since we're talking about intensity, we're going to amp it up here so that you can understand what I mean about Abel's blood and what it's saying. This will help you understand it better. Genesis 4:10 in the Amplified. The Lord said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's innocent blood is crying out to me from the ground for justice." Stop right there, little flock, and do a dance. Stop right there, a little flock, and do a dance. Flocculating, we flocculating, we flocculating, we flocculating. Okay? Do you see what I'm saying there, little flock? So that's what Abel's blood crying for. So if you were to see that man, then how do you think he'd be speaking? Like the grandson of right thought does. Maybe you don't think that's the case. That's up to you to decide. I'm just telling you the truth of the matter. That is why, because of my blood, because of my life. Don't you see it, little flockulators? I told you, there's between two grandsons, man. There's between two. Abel or Cain. If you take the mark of Cain, it's like taking his blood, taking his life, taking his DNA, because you're becoming one with him. Or you can become one with me and my blood and cry out for justice, because isn't that what's right? Huh? Even though the world hates what's upright. The Bible already says he who speaks upright is hated and the prophets are mocked. So then something has to happen. How long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say that's just a part of it. We got to fulfill the book. Y'all can't hear me today, I guess. Y'all can't hear me today. So we just proved about Abel's blood and what it speaks. What was it crying to God for? Justice. I told you, kill Cain, all his kids, for what he did. I was innocent. He killed me wrongfully. Abba told me in the 40, last time you were killed, this time I give you grace. That's what he told me in the 40 when I was out there in the 40-day fast in the wilderness. See, isn't that strange that's a part of my story as well? That out of all the people on the earth, the grandson of right thought, the year 2017, this time, matter of fact, this time of year exactly, I was in the 40-day fast 7 years ago. This time exactly. I was 1 or 2 days in the 40-day fast 7 years ago today. And y'all think I'm just making this up. The same man that was in the 40-day fast is breaking this stuff down to you today. And I ain't done breaking it down yet. I just got the grill started and got the butter melted in the damn cast iron skillet. I ain't put the ribeye in yet, but I'm about to. All right. Now what we want. Isaiah 63. That's what we want next, I believe. Yes, Isaiah 63. Now listen carefully to what's going on here, because remember Judah's clothes was washed in certain type of fruit there. Wine, grapes. You see? Let's get it. Isaiah 63, starting at verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom? Now remember it said Judah's hand shall be in the neck of his enemies. Correcti? Who is Judah's enemy? enemy number one. Let's call him that because Judah got a whole lot of damn enemies, as we know from Psalm 83. But who is his arch enemy? Speaking of arch enemy, have y'all ever seen the Arch of Titus Vespasian? Look it up. Look it up, guys. The Arch of Titus. And on the Arch of Titus, you will see Romans carrying menorahs and temple ornaments out of the Temple of Solomon or the Temple of the Jews. You see that? Their enemy's temple. So my question would be, why are Romans depicted on an arch carrying menorahs? Menorah is not their culture. Menorah come from Hebraic, Judaic, as you guys would call it, culture, correct? Hebraic culture. So then why would they be carrying that? Because they stole it and because they're their enemies. So Judah's hand will be in their neck. So do you see how when I talk about the enemies of God, I speak the way that I do with such great intensity? Because of my blood get to boiling. You see that there? And it start crying out to Abba for justice. I can't stand iniquity. One thing about the grandson of right thought, which makes it hard for other people to dwell around me, is I can't stand iniquity. I abhor it. I can't stand that shit. It bring a great fury and wrath inside of me that my whole life I have fought to bring down. I can't even think of no words to describe it right now. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. And it was always because of some unfairness that I would see. I hated it. Well, now do you understand why? I do. I do. And we're going to get into even further here. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness. Speak in what? Right thought. Mighty to save. You hear that little flock of letters or what? Do you hear that little flock of letters or what? Now let's continue. Let's continue. Mighty to save. And then the question, wherefore art thou red in thine apparel? Why are your clothes red? Well, did you read Genesis? Let's continue. And thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. See, little flock of letters, how that connect like Legos, like I told you it always do here at the School of Marvelous Light, because that's what we do here in the School of Marvelous Light. We let our light shine. I have trodden the winepress alone. Stop, little flock of letters. So if Yahusha said, forgive them for they know not what they do, and he was obedient to that calling until unto death, the scripture said, then who is this one who has got blood all over his clothes looking like his wine fat? Like Judah was going, like he said his descendants would be. Huh? And that's why the question is, who is this? Who is that? Let's see. I have trodden the winepress alone. So there's some blood that God has heard that cries out for vengeance. Who do you think Abba, whose life do you think Abba would call forth to tread the wine fat of justice? Who do you think? Other than the grandson of right thought, resurrected. For all of y'all who don't believe in the resurrection, I'm a living proof that is the case. I guess y'all didn't hear Yahushua when he said, yeah, that John the Baptist, that was Elias. And they did to him whatever they wanted to do, even cut his head off. Guess y'all didn't hear that there. I guess you didn't hear when John was told, you got to prophesy again before nations and peoples and tongues, and the book was put in his mouth. But to speak to the nations of people. Guess y'all didn't hear that there, huh? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people, there was none with me. So anybody else talking about they treading the wine fat, they just lying. That's why the grandson of right thought different. That's why I trample when I speak. That's why I conquer. That's why I dare. That's why I say, come on up here to me. If you think that you got something that gonna conquer me, step up. I'll jump off of the top of this mountain, and this stone won't even leave from touching my feet. It will come with me. And when we land, that stone will simply ground your retarded, hard-headed, rebellious ass into powder. This sound like a guy that got friends. Or was he treading it by his damn self? Who better to tread that press than Abel, y'all? Who blood is more prepared for it than Abel, y'all? See that ribeye? I got some lamb chops too. I ain't put them on yet, but we're going to get to it too. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me, for I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. So I got some words in my mouth that I dare anybody to come up and step up to me so I can slash your ass into pieces. I'm tired of all these false ass doctrines. I'm tired of all these idols. Give me my hammer in my hand like Abraham did when he smashed his father's idols without a care in the world about how his father felt about that shit. That's how the grandson of right thought feel right now. Give them to me, Abba, and let me trample on their ass to the ashes. Can you talk like that? Call me prideful. Call me a heretic. Call me a blasphemer and watch me turn your ass into powder too. I got a job to do, and boy, am I straightened until it's completed. For the day of what? What does it say, little flock? Verse 4. For the day of what? The day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. Can y'all mess around with what the grandson of right thought is saying here, or what? What did he just tell y'all? What did he just say? The day of vengeance. Whose blood cries out for vengeance? You guys just found out. So the year of that has come. What did I tell you guys? I just turned 40 years old this year. Y'all want to fuck around with this shit or what? Y'all want to keep playing with God? 40 means purified, perfected and clean, ready to take your promised land. That's what it means to an Israelite like me that been in the wilderness all this damn time. See? You see the lion? You see him prowling back and forth? Come on, world. Come on, world. It's over with for you. It's over with for you because you have no truth to combat what I'm saying here. Because my words don't come from me. They come from he who sent me. And see, my blood cry out for vengeance because I told you I can't stand iniquity. I can't stand to be around it. And Abba gave me a gift and how to clean it up. Do you hear the anger? Do you hear the fury? Did you not, when you hear me talk, didn't you think that was wrong? Didn't you think that it was evil? Well, then you didn't read Isaiah 63 in alignment with who that man was. You deny who that man is. That's all that it means. You don't think he has the right to do it, but you think this man in Isaiah 63 does. Look at that there. See how I pull your skirt off and show your dirty ass panties with a skid mark in that shit? Now go wash your funky ass, bitch. For the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked. See, I've been preaching. I told you guys all this time. And I looked, and there was none to help. And I wondered that there was none to uphold. See that there, little flock? Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. So fuck what y'all talking about. You're either going to sit around and wait to see if what I'm telling you is true, and by then it's going to be too damn late, or you're going to hearken to it because you know it's true because of the vibration you feel going through the inside of your body when I talk to you. There's a reason for that. How did y'all think a gathering would occur? To somebody that don't have no spirit of power, somebody that don't have no spirit of might, somebody that will stand for righteousness with that type of ferocity like a fucking lion and will not let dishonesty go forth? What did y'all want? A dishonest, disloyal ass motherfucker leading y'all, huh? That's what y'all like. People that just give people payoffs to cover up all the wickedness they do and then stand in front of you with a smile on their face talking about, yeah, look at all the philanthropist work that I've done. Look at this. Look at Donald Trump there. He put $100 in the collection plate at church. He put $100. Yeah, I guess y'all didn't see them documents that about Stormy Daniels and how much he put in her collection plate. Put a whole lot more than $100 on her collection plate. But look how they focus on that measly ass $100 that nigga put in there. If you could pay her what you pay her, I think you could put a whole lot more in that collection plate. Pull his damn skirt off, show his nasty ass drawers. You see that there, little flock of ladies? Now try to pull mine off. can't because they're girt about with a belt of truth. See what I'm saying to you? So there was none to help, and I wandered. There was none to uphold. Therefore, mine own arm brought salvation unto me. This is the same thing about that happened to Moses. And people don't know that. Moses, the right arm of Moses, was the same example to Israel of salvation. Okay? You guys don't believe me? It don't matter because we'll get into it. And I will tread down the people and mine anger. See, little flock? See? Why people scatter and run when they see me? They go, that's Godzilla. Look at the flame coming out of his damn mouth. Pew! Y'all can't lie to me because I've had too many of my own people straight tell it to me. Men of my own people have straight come to me and said, you have laced me with a fire that I have never felt before, that I had to simply sit with and just sit in because I can have nothing to come back with. You conquered me. Well, who that mean I be then? Who that mean I be? So what caused him to tread down the enemies, y'all? His anger. See, somebody got roused up. I told you whose blood is crying for this more than anybody else, and I proved it to you with the scriptures. So let's see. I will tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. I will mention the loving kindnesses of Abba and let's get that right. I will mention the loving kindnesses of I am and the praises of I am, according to all that I am have bestowed on us, and the great goodness toward the house of Israel, which he have bestowed on them according to his mercies and according to the multitude of his loving kindnesses. What does that mean there, little flock? How did he just switch from anger and fury and smashing down people and stomping them and treading on them to loving kindnesses and mercies of I am? Because that's what I teach here when I'm not raging and going off because of my fury of iniquity. It's only one of two things you're going to see here. Me teaching about I am and love, or me going off with great fury about the iniquities and injustices and wrong things that's going on in here in the earth. That's what you're going to hear. So it is what it is. If you don't feel like that, then you don't rock with me. You ain't on my team. That's why I didn't find none of y'all when I was feeling like this. Y'all will accept it. Y'all will go along with it. Y'all will go along to get along. If a nigga give you a cheeseburger, if a nigga give you $5, you'll do any damn thing he tells you to do. Not me. I'm different, nigga. And y'all got a gift of having a different nigga on y'all team. I tell you that right now. That's what Abba just said. His mercies are shown towards you by sending me. Or else iniquity would just continue and you guys would just keep suffering. Not on my watch, you won't. For he said, surely they are my people, children that will not. What do I always tell you guys here? See how it doesn't change? They be like, oh, grandson, you cussed. No way you could be that guy. My children and the ones that belong to me are ones that don't lie. Have I said that? Did I say that on my last message? Foot sweep your ass. I'm jumping up like Bruce Lee, about to come down. Watch this. So he was their savior. Blasphemy! He said he was mighty to save. Who made him mighty to save? Yahusha did. Why would Yahusha send somebody who's not mighty to save? Why would he? Why would he do that? He wouldn't. You see that there, little flockulators? In all their affliction, he was afflicted. So in everything you went through, who going through it? Look at me. Look at me. What are you guys talking? The fuck are y'all talking about? What do you mean? In all their afflictions, I am in Detroit. Now, y'all give me a city that is considered by the whole wide world less than Detroit, Michigan. Give me one if you can. Don't you understand why? Because of his mercy and loving kindness. Boy. In their affliction, he was afflicted, and the angel of his presence saved them. Do you hear that? Do you hear it? In his love and in his pity, he redeemed them, and he bare them and carried them all the days of old. But they rebelled and vexed his Holy Spirit. Therefore, he was turned to be their enemy, and he fought against them. Watch this little flock right here so I can prove to you what I was saying earlier. Ain't no about Moses, ain't no damn fluke. Then he remembered the days of old, Moses and his people, saying, where is he that brought them up out of the sea with the shepherd of his flock? Do you hear it? Where is he that put his Holy Spirit within him? Then led them by the right hand of Moses with his glorious arm, dividing the water before them to make himself an everlasting name, that led them through the deep. As a what, little flock? What do we read about what Judah does? He brings his feelings into submission to the king. What did y'all should do? What did Moses do with the children of Israel? He brought them in submission and preparation to receive Christ. The Bible says he is our schoolmaster that brought us unto Christ. See how it connects like Legos. You notice it says his glorious arm, the right hand of Moses. See what I mean? See? He led them through the deep as a horse in the wilderness, so they should not stumble. As a beast goeth down into the valley, the Spirit of the Lord caused him to rest. So didst thou lead thy people to make thyself a glorious name. That's the way Abba chose to lead his people. And he's going to do the same thing again, because Moses told you all he would rise up another one like himself. But he won't come from Levi. So he didn't know. So he spake nothing concerning Judah. So nobody knew what he was talking about. Well, it's being fulfilled now, little flock. I'm proving it to you by being able to say the things that I'm saying to you today. See? The Spirit allows that to happen. Who else could do it? I did. That's what you're telling me. I came up with this on my own. Or did the Spirit give me this today to tell you all so that you would know why you were experiencing what you experienced when you come to me? That's God's mercy and love and showing you right there, isn't it? All right. What we want next? All right, let's go to Isaiah verse 11. All right. So do you see about that in 63? Vengeance is in mine heart. Yahushua's blood doesn't speak of vengeance. His love speaks of forgiveness. So who is this one that speaks of vengeance, guys? It's the mystery that I told you has been hidden. He's been hidden from the foundation. Abel was hidden in the earth from the foundation of the earth, from the very beginning. And nobody thought about him anymore. He was out of sight, out of mind, and forgotten until he was resurrected. Crying, Abba, like the Bible says. See? See? All right. Isaiah verse 11. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots, specifically. So, just as King David came out of Jesse, and Solomon, who was the grandson of Jesse, built the temple, it's a foreshadowing of what Abba is going to do in the end. What we're reading right now. And we're going to prove it's about right now by these certain events that take place when this man is around. You see? And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall go out of his roots. You notice it's from his roots? You see? So it's the third part of a plant that grows from the first part of the plant. See how Abel's predates all these other guys? Before Abraham was, I am. Don't you see it, little flock of laters? And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him. See? That branch out of the stem of Jesse. You see? That grandson of Jesse. The Spirit of the Lord will rest upon him. You see? And the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and the fear of I am, and shall make him of quick understanding and the fear of I am. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes. Now, when you see that, when it says shall make him of quick understanding and the fear of I am, you notice how I teach about the name of I am? Now that you understand it, the Lord means I am. Now do you understand what it means about how he's quick in understanding that, how to use I am? I told you when they locked me up, they thought they could lock me up, and I got up out of there because I got quick understanding in the name of I am. I understand it completely. So then who do you want to teach you about it? You look at this. Adam taught Abel an unadulterated, perfect teaching. Okay? In other words, his heart was not yet broken. He had not experienced a thing yet. But when Abel died, along with the teachings that were given to him by his father, another son rose up named Appointed, or Seth. And he received the teachings of his father, and he carried them forth. But the teachings from his father were now changed because of the change of his heart, being broken from the loss of his son. You see it there, little flockulators? It was a little adulterated there. Different, in other words. You see it? So if we want to get the unadulterated pure without the hurt and the pain, then we got to get it from Abel. You see that little flockulators? So he understand it differently because Abba's spirit rests upon him. Don't you see it, little flock, or no? Okay? And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity, fairness, for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Didn't we just read that in Isaiah 63? There wasn't nobody else to do it but one man, the man who cried out for vengeance. That's Abel, the avenger. Like I told you guys from the very beginning, that's why you hear what you hear here. Isn't it clear? What you hear here, isn't it clear? And righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his reins. See, you say I'm going to be here 90 days. Watch this shit. I'm walking up out of here, guys. It hasn't even been 48 days yet. What happened to what you said? See how I was girt about? Which means I wasn't worried. My pants didn't slip off when they said 90 days, man. No, I walked out of there before 40 days. So who the fuck was right and who the fuck was wrong? I would say the grandson of right thought was right. Or else I'm lying about my name. Every time you guys look on the page and see grandson of right thought, I'd be lying. I would be lying. But I'm official. See, I got the stamp of approval. See that there? See that there? Now let's look at these signs that take place when this particular man, this rod from the stem of Jesse, stand up, this grandson. The wolf also shall dwell with the lamb. See how it's making peace? And the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed their young ones, shall lie down together, and the lion shall eat straw like the ox, and the suckling child shall play on the hole of the ass. What did I tell you I hated? Iniquity and unfairness and unbalanced scales. I cannot stand it. So I got to correct it. That's my nature. I see something crooked or fucked up, I have to fix that shit. Everybody who personally knows me knows that. They be like, there he goes fixing it again, but it get fixed. I told y'all about the lady's hot water tank that wasn't working, and I fixed it. Brother came to me the other day with a radio for his car, and the wire was shorted out in the back, and he brought a new one, but he didn't know how to wire it up. So I wired it up for him, and he plugged it in, and his radio came right on. Y'all hear what I'm saying, though? All right. They shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain. See what I'm saying? For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of I am, and the waters, as the waters cover the sea. Keep listening. And in that day, see, when everything becoming fair and equal and no iniquity is going out no more. See, in that day there shall be a root of Jesse. So it says a root? No, I told you. Which shall stand for an ensign of the people. See, to it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. Now, Israelites, I bear witness that the Gentiles have sought me, and they seek me early. They do. They come bearing gifts. They're kind. They speak well. Not all of them, but there are some who do. You see? And I have seen faith among them that I have yet to see among you guys. And I'm just being honest with you. My people are too caught out on outward appearance to live faithfully. But I have people who are all the way across the ocean saying, I know you are who you are, brother. It's obvious. You have to be a fool not to believe it. Once you hear this guy, you should know exactly who it is. I remember this was about 2 or 3 years ago. The comment is still there on the video that I had posted. I think it was called I'm Abel the Avenger or something like that. But in the video, I said clearly, I'm able. And the woman commented, a Gentile woman, she commented and said, I knew from the first time I heard you talk that you were able. That's what she said. And she said, I also have done the things that you've told me to do, and it works out perfectly the way the grandson is saying it. So then she's even telling the Israelites, like, I benefited from what the grandson said. I tried what he said, and it shit worked. It gave me exactly what I wanted. So you guys can skip past him if you want to. I know he's the truth. See what I'm saying to you, little flock? See what I'm saying to you? I ain't making none of this up. Nah. He shall stand for an ensign of the people. To it shall the Gentiles seek, and his rest shall be glorious. What do we read about in the other place? The gathering shall be unto Shiloh. So this is Shiloh. This root, this ensign, that's Shiloh. It's to him who it belongs. That's Abel's spot. It don't belong to nobody else. He is singular. He is a branch sticks out from the root of the tree, like I told you, while the rest of the tree grew and flourished. That particular spot is different than every other part. He's unique. He's holy. In other words, he's set apart. Can't y'all understand how easy that is to understand? Can't y'all see it? You see? So it ain't really nothing to be scared of. It's something to celebrate, which is what I always tell you guys to do. Celebrate and be happy. Be joyful, man. Kick back, relax, smoke a blunt, chill, kick your feet up and say, man, hold on a minute. We were stressing over nothing. Abba got us. This is clearly our gift. If we ever got a question we don't understand about the scripture, ask our person. Ask our tribesman. The grandson of right thought. He part of our blood, our tribe. He ours. But like I said, if you want to know if I'm truth or not, then you'll see many of my people will reject me, and that will also tell you. Don't you see it, little flock? It ain't hard. Now, before I finish this message, y'all see this stick I got right here? You see this stick? Abba gave me this, and for y'all who know, y'all watched the video when Abba did give it to me. Y'all saw the exact moment when he did. But there's some writing on there. You see? Do you know what that writing means? It literally represents the nation of Israel being unified in one, fulfilling the prophecy about Ezekiel. Now, in order for the gathering of the people to be unto him, that means that they had to be unified in one. So do you see how the man that's telling you all this information happens to have that stick that Abba gave him with them words written on it? Who told me to write them words on it? Who twisted it like this in the middle? Who made one side dark and one side light? And the one side that's light represents Ephraim or Joseph, which Ephraim came out of Joseph, so that's the same thing. Is the light side. And the Bible said Ephraim is a cake not turned. You know, when you cook a pancake, the part that's not turned is very, very light in comparison to the part that is turned is dark. So you notice the dark part is for Judah. You notice all of this stuff that I'm telling you there, little flockulators? Now the question is, have you heard anybody else teach the doctrine about the grandson that I do? First of all, is the doctrine of the grandson faulty? That's what you first have to establish. Is it faulty or is it scripturally sound? Okay? And once you make that decision, then you have to go, well, if it's not faulty, then who else is able to teach it? And then you tell me who else is. It only belonged to one man, just like we read in Isaiah 63. There's only one man that's able to do this because his blood his life is in his blood, and his blood cry out for vengeance. And that one said, the vengeance is in my heart, and now the day of the Lord is at hand, for my redeemed is come. So what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about? Y'all don't see this beauty over here? Because I do. Like I say, I see it clear in the light. And in order for you to see, you got to come into the light. But little babies, when you first open your eyes and it's real bright, it hurt for a moment. But just what I just said there, I said for a moment. It ain't eternal pain. You see that there, little flock? It ain't eternal. So y'all be blessed today and understand why your grandson is the way that he is. You should know, not little flock. You should know. Still, Mr. Allah.